guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tia, aka Teacup Simmer, and this is another part of our Planet Zoo Let's Play. But this is a little bit different because we are going to be focusing on just the new speed build. So this is a new thing I'm trying where I'm working on a speed build as a separate video for you guys, just because I knew this one specifically was just going to take a fairly long time. So if you guys like this this style of doing our time lapses for our Planet Zoo episodes, definitely let me know down in the comments. But this one was our Pygmy Hippo habitat. It took me a while to figure out what I really wanted to do. Like, I had a general idea, but of course Pygmy Hippos don't necessarily need as much water as regular hippos. They need a certain amount of land, but I also wanted to have a really nice water, habitat. Like, I was just kind of, I really wanted something that was just a lot of water and greenery and just a little bit more, what's the word? Trees. And I wanted a water viewing area. And of course, for there to be a water viewing area, we kind of needed a little bit more water than we would have had if I'd made this a smaller territory. But it turned out pretty well. I'm actually kind of proud of how I ended up making it. It's not necessarily in any way symmetrical. I went with what I had. It's definitely a Tia worked with what she had kind of thing, so it doesn't look as like immaculate as some of my other ones, just because I didn't really have a good idea of how I wanted to do this. It was just like it was a concept that I was playing with, and I knew it was possible. I just had never done a habitat like this before, especially like a water viewing habitat. So it was definitely interesting. I'm probably in future water viewing habitats, I'll probably change it up a little bit, probably make some changes to how I would make the habitat. But I had fun playing with this one, mostly because I was able to kind of test out and play with a lot of the construction pieces that I don't normally play with, especially because you guys wouldn't have seen me play with them with our African wild dogs or our cheetahs, because I use those mostly as like very natural habitats. They're all pretty straightforward. They don't have a lot of extra bits and bobs. The only thing that's different about them, I think, is maybe the view. All the viewing is underground, but all of the structures in their habitats are all made of like not the territory, but the terraforming tools. So I didn't actually have to build anything. I just kind of pulled and tweaked around some of the ground just to make sure that it would fit. For this one, it took me a while to get it the way I wanted it to, because of how it kind of required me to build it. So because I had to have like a little bit of an incline to be able to make sure that the keepers could get in and out, it took me a while to figure out how to make the borders of the territory, and that was a little bit fun. I was kind of upset about this, so it took me a while to get that right. But it took me a while to figure out what I wanted for the borders, because of course I wanted a giant piece of land in the middle, but I still wanted it still had to be connected to something, and I didn't want to build like a bridge or anything like that. I still wanted most of it to be pretty natural, but I did end up going with this really nice like stone, almost like an abandoned stone house in the middle of the jungle kind of idea, where the Pygmy hippos live in this tiny little bungalow made of stone, and they have like leaves on the ground. It's super cute. I love it. It's just, it took me a while to figure out how I wanted that to look. And then of course I went with some straw thatching for the actual viewing area, so it could be like a nice sit down viewing area. I was actually very happy with it. It was something that I wasn't necessarily sure how everybody would like it, because I definitely decided to do the Pygmy hippos like outside of all of our voting. I know everyone kind of voted for the African wild dogs, and the cheetahs were mostly my decision, but the Pygmy hippos were definitely something where I was just like, I just want hippos. And so I don't know how everybody's gonna feel about the hippos, but I'm excited because they're adorable, and we were able to put 3 in here, and they have pretty good appeal, so they should help out our zoo make a certain amount of money. And the next ones, I'm probably going to try, and since we're making a certain amount of money and it's not too taxing, I'm probably going to start trying to be more creative with our habitats. So I may end up doing separate videos for all of our habitats in the future, just because of how long it takes me to, one, figure out what I'm going to do, and then continue to figure out how it's going to look and what like pieces I'm going to use and all of that. It's definitely going to be like a learning curve trying to create this. I've never spent time, especially on my other zoos, working specifically on building with the construction. So this is going to be definitely an interesting test for me to see how I can work with the construction tools in this game. I was trying to make like a full-on wall around the habitat, but it just looked too big. Like there was no way it was going to work. So I kind of cut it off at a certain point, just so that we could cut off the area that the hippos could escape from, and then kind of added rocks at the end of it, just so that it wouldn't look like a complete wall ending. And then I think I put trees there in the future. So it's not bad. It's definitely not like super symmetrical or immaculate or anything like that. It was mostly like, okay, well, ooh, this is a problem. It's not going to work the way I wanted it to. Okay, let's fix it this way. And it looks a little bit off, just a tad. Trying to get used to using these tools, using like the construction stuff was definitely a trial for me, mostly because it's harder to think in 4D, 3D, 4D. I don't know what we call it, but it's harder to think in those terms for me, trying to think of, okay, if I push it this far, where will it go? And trying to get used to all of those tools is definitely going to take me some time. So this may be like a very interesting learning curve that everyone's going to have to work with me on. But I was excited to see you guys to see the little house. I love the little house. The little house is adorable. And I love how these pieces kind of clip together. It's super nice. But I wanted to make a little house that you could get out on both sides, but so you could still see the hippos, but they still felt like they had an enclosed space. I still wanted them to feel like they had some hard shelter. And I don't think we're going to have too many hippos in here because of the space. Well, technically the amount of space they have is actually perfect. It's a lot more than they need, but I still wanted us to be able to support like a few babies and our original pairing. And I think our original pairing is like 4 years old, and they live till about 15, 20. I don't remember. I haven't looked at the Zoopedia in a minute. So they could live for a while. And since we have our game set for 3 slower, we could probably have our Pygmy Hippos for a good minute. So I'm excited about that. I do end up naming the Pygmy Hippos in the episode coming up, so I hope you guys like their names. But I think I'm going to let you guys just finish watching the speed build with some nice music. I don't particularly have anything else to talk about. It was really fun making this. I hope I get a chance to make some more of these, at least, and so hopefully I'll get better at decorating like that and adding like the vines and the, like, what's it called? I think I saw some things that are like wisteria that are supposed to go on the sides of buildings, like stuff like that. Like I want to see if I can get better at making some really nice buildings and stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you did like it, please let me know down in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please hit the bell for any notifications so that you can see whenever I post something or whenever I do something new with Planet Zoo or Niche or Wolf Quest or any of that fun jazz. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!